Amiibo!
Hello, memes. Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
We're glad that we managed to convince you to tear yourselves away from perpetual "the servers are overloaded" messages.
Please try again.
Yeah, to listen to us talk about this week's Nintendo news on Nintendo Unleashed episode 75.
Woo! Fanfare.
Woo! I'm here with a dank meme. You might know him. His name's Noah.
Hello. Just us this week. That's it.
Yeah,
No Armz.
Armz. He can't tear himself away from Pokemon Go. He's just non-stop refreshing. He's like, God damn it,
yeah.
work, no, work. So, yeah, unfortunately he can't be here today, but we're here to talk about Europe, because we don't talk about them very often, so they need to be talked about sometimes, as well as Pikmin 4, some Pokemon Sun and Moon information, Pokemon Go, and, well, maybe something else, but I just listed pretty much all our topics there.
Yeah. Maybe a short episode. Maybe.
Also, I'm Conor, I never said that, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, so hype. Noah, what are you playing this week?
So I started off this week. I went to a friend's house who I hadn't seen for a year because he went to college. And we played. He got a CRT TV, and we played Melee on it. So he has a pretty cool setup, and it felt. I don't know. I guess it felt pretty authentic. I've played Melee. Well, I mean, I used to play it a lot when I was a little baby in my friend's house, and obviously I could not even begin to grasp the competitive nature of the game, seeing as I was 5.
Not the
more
best
recently,
competitive players are 5.
Yeah. More recently, I've played it a few times, but this was the first time where I was able to successfully wave dash, so yay.
Woo.
And that was fun. I learned I love playing as Luigi. So that was good. Additionally, I've been playing Virtue's Last Reward on 3DS, which is the second game in the Zero Escape series. And this game has been pretty fun. The timeline element that was included in 999, so that was only in the iOS version. It was never in the original DS version, so the timeline in this game feels more integral to the story since it was built with the timeline in mind. So I've definitely been enjoying that aspect. I also love that this version has it's fully voice acted, unlike the original. And I love the voices. I especially love 03's voice because it's like adorable but psychotic at the same time. 03 is like a bunny rabbit, for those who don't know. It's complicated. I don't want to spoil anything. And of course, Pokemon Go, I've been playing when I can. So we're going to go more in depth on that later, but I have been playing Pokemon Go. And despite all the crazy service, I have had some enjoyable experiences, but I don't want to go in depth until later in the episode.
So, I've been playing Pokemon X. I'm in Victory Road, almost done with my, gotta play them all journey. Yeah. And I also played this really neat game. It's a mobile game that's online. Your goal is to collect things, and it actually works. It's called Love Live. I started playing the Japanese server again just because there's this huge update to Aqua, and the UI change and a bunch of other dank stuff. So, yeah, it's actually different again.
Yeah, it's good when things work, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It was crashing a bit right when the update launched, but I guess an advantage to me is I live like the other side of the world from Japan, so right now it's like the middle of the night there, so not as much people are playing.
Yeah. Anyway, so for the Nintendo downloads this week, it's an interesting batch. We have some all-caps titles on the Wii U eShop.
Woo.
Steel Lords and Tap Tap Arcade 2 from RC Maniacs.
Oh, man.
And it's a collection.
Best studio.
Which includes Skeezy and Volcano. And on the Wii Virtual Console, there are 2 NES games being Flying Dragon, The Secret Scroll, and Baseball Simulator 1000, both of which I've never heard of. And on the new 3DS Virtual Console, The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, which is apparently a very critically acclaimed title. Or at least it's one I've heard a lot of people talking about. And as for 3DS themes, we have The Legend of Dark Witch 2, Rudy's theme, Solo's theme, and Zizu's theme. I have no idea what that is.
No idea.
Alright. So, I think the only game I can confidently recommend here is Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Just because I haven't heard of any of the others before, and I know that one's good. So
my pick of the week is open up the Google Play Store or iTunes Store on your smart device and download Love Live.
Yeah, that works. I mean, honestly, like, if you're a big Gomon fan or a Mystical Ninja fan, like, yeah, do download that, but it's really not a very exciting week. The App Store or Google Play Store are going to be your best bet this week between Love Live and Pokemon. And the Splatfest shirts on Mitomo. But anyway.
Breaking news.
Ooh, what is it?
Right before we started recording, this official confirmation came from Nintendo America that as of Callie and Marie, there are 100 amiibo in circulation in North America.
Nice. Cool. So, we know this includes the variants, the new Squid variants, as well as the
Yarn Yoshis, and all the Miis, and all the Marios.
Yeah. The only ones I think we're unsure of are Gold Mega Man and the Skylander ones. Everything else, though, is pretty much guaranteed.
I'm also not entirely sure, what's it called? Famicom Rob. Because it wasn't on the picture they posted, but
got it.
It might count. Who knows?
Right. So I'm sure you could do some counting to figure out who not included. But
those are also figures, so the cards don't count.
Okay. So I'm sure you could, using numbers, deduce which ones are counting and which ones don't. But we don't. That's too much work.
We don't care that much.
Yeah. For now, that's just sort of speculation on our part. And I think it's fair to assume that all the ones they included in the picture, obviously count.
Yeah.
But anyway, how are we gonna handle this Street Fighter giveaway? Are we just gonna read the code?
I don't think we can because of Patreon.
Oh, okay.
So how about we just do tweet at us, and we will pick a random person who tweeted at us before next episode.
Yes. And it doesn't matter how early you are. Like, if you're a Patreon listener and you get it in early, that's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, basically just before we record next episode, anytime after the episode's out.
Yeah, let us know you want the giveaway, and we'll randomly pick someone for... This is, again, Street Fighter 4 3D for 3DS, because...
No one responded.
Yeah, no one responded. So this could be your lucky day.
We're not going to post about it on Twitter at all, so as soon as you hear this, just tweet us so you don't forget.
Yes, we're at... you can tweet at BlazeCakeTweet or at Nin Unleashed, but preferably BlazeCakeTweet. And we will add you to the drawing, and you'll have your game soon, hopefully. And if you do enter, thank you for being a faithful listener and not ignoring the giveaway. So aside from that, moving into some of our news, we have the confirmation that Deep Silver, who published Mighty Number 9, is going to start publishing Sega and Atlas games in Europe. And they actually mentioned Persona 5, which I'm not positive, but I think that's the first mention of that game officially in Europe. I could be wrong on that.
Atlas US mentioned it's coming to Europe I think they said it's coming to Europe, but they have no news.
Okay.
So potentially that they were talking about this deal, and it was still being worked out at that point.
So I guess now we know how that game is coming.
I don't think they gave a date for Persona 5.
Oh, did they?
I don't think they did.
Oh, they didn't. Okay, yeah, that I did not see. But at least, Atlas games have always had a strange history in Europe of coming really late. So I guess it's good to know that hopefully Persona 5 will be coming around the launch of the game in the US.
Also, I really hope Deep Silver uses their famous tagline for Persona 5. Cry like an anime fan on prom night, considering that's legit their target audience now.
So beyond that news, in more well, not really publishing news, but in game development updates, a strange... Well, okay, I've conflicting feelings here. Pikmin 4 for me has been one of the most elusive games of this generation. Because it was mentioned by Miyamoto, like, after last E3, and he was like, oh, it's near completion, and then we heard nothing for a year, and I was so afraid it got canceled or something, or something happened, because we hadn't heard anything. There was a lot of speculation, like, oh, is it going to come to the Wii U or NX or both? But now we have another update from an interview with Miyamoto. And he says, yes, you are right, and we're working on Pikmin 4. So, when we're in development, we have to create a list of priorities, and it has been hard to kind of fit that into this list. But we're hopefully starting to see that on the list now, which makes it sound like they're just starting to develop it.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Maybe it was a mistranslation last year. Maybe it means, like, now they have time to finish it up. We really don't know, but based on this, it doesn't sound like it will be an NX launch title, assuming NX launches in March. However, I do think this sort of settles the debate on, like, Wii U versus NX.
Yeah. And
I think it'll definitely come to NX, because I do believe we have the official confirmation that Breath of the Wild is the last Nintendo-published Wii U game, right? Didn't that come out of some sort of meeting? Okay.
Yeah, it was at the investor meeting last week.
Okay. So knowing that, I think it's fair to assume that this game will come to NX as opposed to Wii U. The only other... Well, okay, so there's a couple other weird mystery scenarios. There's mobile, which I highly doubt. Because I don't think Nintendo's going to be putting any main series titles on mobile anytime soon. And, Pikmin 4 definitely sounds like a main series title. And there's also 3DS, which, okay, there's no way it's coming to the original 3DS. And so it might come to new 3DS, but again, I doubt they would put, like, a new big first-party title exclusive to new 3DS. That's not a port. Mm-hmm. So I really feel like at this point it's NX bound, which I'm personally happy with, because, like, once the NX comes out and I sort of transition over to that, I don't want to have to use my Wii U to play a new game. Like, I'll gladly use it to play an old game, like revisit old games, but I don't want to have to, plug my Wii U back in just to play this new game that's coming out. So I guess that's sort of reassuring, but at the same time, the non-reassuring part is how he says, "Oh yeah, now it's a priority." But like didn't you say it was almost complete or something like that?
Hopefully, Aonuma has better wording than Miyamoto.
Yeah.
From back when he said Breath of the Wild was in the similar stages to Skyward Sword when it was almost done or something. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that doesn't mean we're just starting it.
Right. Anyway, so just to reference this story from Eurogamer, published on July 9th, 2015, not 16. I'm just going to read some of these things from Miyamoto. Pikmin 4 is in development and, quote, very close to completion, end quote. Nintendo Shigeru Miyamoto has exclusively confirmed to Eurogamer. Speaking in an interview held back in July, Nintendo's top designer revealed that work on a fourth major Pikmin game was well underway. It's actually very close to completion, Miyamoto said. Pikmin teams are always working on the next one.
Always working. It wasn't a priority, but they're always doing it.
Now, here's what's interesting. This is coming from Nintendo Corporation rather than Miyamoto. Quote, we can confirm that Pikmin 4 is in development, but that is all we can confirm at present, end quote. So that does not hint that it's almost done, unlike Miyamoto. So what I think might have happened is there may have been a mistranslation or misunderstanding with Miyamoto. And so, yes, we knew the game was in development, but maybe not exactly close to finished.
I feel Miyamoto also kind of jumps the gun a lot of the time. Like, we saw last month with Pokemon Go, it's coming in July. Then the Niantic, we didn't want to say that yet.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, as I've stated, I'm like, just to sum up my thoughts on Pikmin 4, I'm kind of sad that we're gonna have to maybe wait a little bit longer, but at the same time, I'm glad it still exists. I was really worried since having not heard about it for a year, which usually doesn't happen unless it's Breath of the Wild. And that's it for Pikmin 4. Now we're going to talk about Sun and Moon stuff. Very cute new Poison Man, little lizard.
Yeah, so at a Japan Expo in France, Junichi Masuda revealed a brand new Pokemon called Salandit. Salandit?
Yeah, I think it's Salandit.
Like salamander, and I don't know what the it comes from.
I don't know what the dit thing is.
But it's a poison fire Pokemon and has a new ability called Corrosion, which allows it to poison all Pokemon, including poison and steel types, which are normally immune to poison. One thing that we almost saw in the trailer but didn't quite is if this is true for the koala Pokemon, who supposedly is immune to all status conditions except sleep, or also if it's true for Pokemon like is it Magikarp? I think it's Magikarp that makes
What does that do?
So they're immune to all status conditions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it would be interesting to see like who trumps who there, like which ability takes the most priority. I'm sure people will start to hopefully test those things soon, or maybe it'll be revealed in some sort of magazine. Who knows?
Yeah, if it's not, that's probably that's not gonna be too hard to find out anyway. Just I'm sure Clefairy is gonna be easy enough to find.
Right. But anyway, so people seem to really like the design on Twitter. I personally do myself.
Cool.
Yeah. It sort of has a similar color scheme to Litten, but
maybe it's Litten's evolution.
Yeah. Cat lizard thing.
I like how his art is kind of like on all fours, but then his model's upright on two. Like I know there's Pokemon that do that, but usually if their art's on all fours, then their models are on all fours too.
Right.
Like even if they could be either or.
Yeah. But yeah, the design seems cool. People have said the evolution, well, if it does evolve, you never know. The evolution will probably look cool as well. Some people are saying it's like a Komodo dragon, or it could become one. So yeah, good designs, and I guess I'm glad we're still getting them. It's kind of weird to just get one Pokemon after that big, like, new arrival of, like, 7 of them or something like that, or even more than that, I think. But still good regardless. So that's just for Sun and Moon. But in other Pokemon news, Pokemon Go has now launched almost worldwide. So it's not out in Canada. I'm not sure about Japan. Is that in Japan? I don't think so.
I've heard people say it is and people say it isn't, so I have no idea.
Yeah, so I know it's definitely... I think it might be out in the... Is it out in the UK now? I saw some people using it in the UK, but I don't know if they were using a workaround or if it's official.
I think they were using the workaround. I think the only regions it's officially launched in for sure are Australia, New Zealand, and the United States.
Okay. So the game is out, and it sort of just dropped. Like, it dropped for Australia and New Zealand with no warning. Everybody started losing their minds. Everyone started using workarounds. People started getting banned. And then it came in the US about, 24 hours later. So, yeah, it's been a kind of a rocky launch. It's been met with great popularity. Like, there's a lot of people talking about it, but the game is very buggy at the moment for a few reasons. The main one being the servers, in that they're very bogged down, very hard to get onto. Many times you'll try to log on, and it'll say, we're experiencing trouble at the moment, please come back later. Which isn't really a super uncommon thing for online launches, but it's still kind of frustrating, I think, that it's been, persistent. There have also been some in-game issues, but not quite as... it seems like that's the main one, not being able to get on. But in terms of in-game things, some people have had trouble with their GPS. I don't know if that's an issue with the game or with the people's phones, though, you know?
Yeah, it depends, really, because some people's phones just kind of auto have it off, and you have to go through the settings to turn it on. So if your phone's like that and you don't know, then you're gonna have issues with it.
Yeah, I've seen some people just spawn in the middle of the ocean, which is interesting. You'll sure find a lot of water Pokemon. So that's been an issue. There's been some crashing as well, and not just on the workarounds, but on the official versions. I've experienced a handful of crashes myself. Additionally, the Pokemon Trainer Club, it's currently impossible to sign up with that method. You currently have to sign up using your Google account, which works fine. It's just kind of frustrating that one of the two main methods to signing doesn't work at all.
Trainer Club in general's down.
Yeah, I'm guessing it got like it's never had that many visitors at once or something, and that's why it went down.
I don't even recall it dying when the Dream World launched in Gen 5, and you needed to use your Pokemon Trainer Club.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, that's been rough. Additionally, I mean, something I've experienced personally, and I think actually might be kind of widespread because I watched a video where someone had the same problem. So I went to take a gym from the evil, stupid Red Valor team. And so I was doing my battle, right? I thought I was going to lose, so I brought a party of 6 because, the Pokemon I was battling had a greater CP. But I was actually able to defeat it with my first Pokemon, almost. So here's what happened. I was able to, I mean, Connor's heard this, but this is mainly for the audience. I was able to whittle it down to 1 HP or something similar. I kept attacking. I kept using charge attacks, and it just wasn't going down from there. And it stopped attacking me. And I was just like, I really want this gym. What's going on? So I decided, I'm just going to battle it again. I clicked the run button. But then all of a sudden the background changed. So, I clicked cancel. And it's like, oh, you won. It's like, that was strange. So I don't know if it was just lag or if, almost running sort of triggered the victory. But there's definitely been some weird lag type issues there. Now, unfortunately, Conor cannot provide impressions because he is in Canada.
I would have downloaded it anyway. I just...
Oh, yeah, you have limited data, right? So that makes it
there's that plus I mean, my school, I would have just gone to my school and wandered around the campus because I have Wi-Fi there. Mm-hmm. But seeing all the server crashes and kind of just, I don't know, it looks like it would be fun for a bit, but not for long. Kind of just made me not want to even bother. I actually did download the APK at one point, but then I just deleted it before even putting it in my phone.
Right. Yeah, I personally think it'll be worth trying, and I mean, whenever they get the things ironed out, I still think you should give it a shot, but only once it's working.
Yeah.
Because it's just a frustrating experience when it's not. I do think it's very fun when there's a lot of Pokespots and gyms around you, personally. I
have no idea what it would be like here. Because we're somewhat major city, but the major city in my province would be Vancouver, so they're probably going to have more emphasis, but there's still a decent amount of people living here.
Yeah. I mean, I find, usually it works really well in, areas which are generally, have a lot of public spaces, areas with schools and shopping centers and parks. Even if it's not a popular area, are going to have stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, then I guarantee you're going to have plenty of Pokespots, hopefully gyms as well.
We also have porta potties, which according to Twitter are prime locations for gyms.
Mm-hmm. Now, from my experience, obviously you shouldn't really expect anything in your... Well, I mean, some people have found things in their neighborhood. I find that to be pretty strange. But I live in a neighborhood that's not really too close to anything. So I had to walk a couple miles to get to... Well, so when I first started the game, I could see a Pokespot in the distance. And I know where this is. It's kind of a strange walk, but I'm going to go to it. So I walked there. And then as soon as I got there, I saw a gym in the distance. It was kind of like breadcrumbs, So I kept going. So that was interesting. My first Pokespot is this little sign, but not really anything important. And the gym was actually very interesting because I actually learned about something in my area which I had no idea what it was. It was actually apparently this thing called a root cellar, which is it was these underground storage areas where they used to keep fruits and vegetables during winter so they didn't freeze. And apparently it was built in 1760. So that's pretty awesome.
Pokemon Go teaching you your local history.
Exactly. I passed this thing so many times, but I legitimately had no idea what it was. So that was actually kind of cool. And I took that gym. It was neutral, again being kind of like in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully no one will take it. Hopefully no one will take it from me. I'll just take it back. And so beyond that, I went into a park last night, and I'll share some of my experiences from that. So along the way when I was driving, that was the first time I'd been like actually far away from my neighborhood, and seen stuff. Because when I went to that first gym, like that really wasn't that far away. Like it was walking distance. But now that I'd been driving distance, like I could actually see things. So it's like, oh, okay, I know that location. There were some weird ones. It's like, oh, there's not really a crosswalk here, so I don't know how you're supposed to get to that spot without driving. But it was interesting seeing all those things. And once I got to the park, in the parking lot, I immediately saw people like standing on the sidewalk holding their phone up. And so I got ice cream and then went down to the actual park. And there was a Pokestop. There was only one Pokestop. Actually, yeah, there was only one Pokestop, but there were like 2 or 3 gyms there. And what's interesting is they're all held by the same guy. And so I thought that was really interesting. Like,
call that guy.
Yeah, like more than anything in this game, like the thing I've gotten the most out of is like a sense of like community and like, teamwork / rivalry. Because here's this guy on the red team I've never met in my life, but I already feel a need to like best him, And so I was sort of able to do that. I took down one of his gyms, and that's the same gym I said where I had the HP problem. But I was able to get it set, and I forget which one I put. I think I put a Drowsy there. I put a Bellsprout on the first one and a Drowsy on that one. Captured them for Team Mystic all day long. So that was really interesting. And what was funny is not just in that park, but even like during the drive back home, I still saw a couple gyms which were captured by that same guy. So it's just interesting, like seeing who's like a prominent player in your area, And hopefully, I mean, currently I have a situation where I can't really like go around just because of like a lot of people are away in the family right now and there's a lot going on. But I think in a week's time I'll be able to explore more when I have more opportunities to travel. And hopefully that'll be fun. Hopefully we'll be able to check out more gyms. And in terms of the actual Pokemon, there's been a lot of talk about like the evolution and stuff like that. Because as well, I mean, for the audience, as some of you may or may not have heard, evolution doesn't really work the same way in this game, so you don't really get experience points. Well, you do get experience points, but they're for your trainer. But not for the Pokemon. So for the Pokemon, you basically, like, you want to catch, the only way to evolve is to catch duplicates, because for each Pokemon you catch, like, let's say, I'm gonna use Pidgey as an example. There are plenty of Pidgeys around here. No surprises. And for each Pidgey for each Pidgey you catch, I believe you get 3 Pidgey candies and 100 of what is called Stardust. And so there are 2 things you can do to a Pokemon. You can either power it up, which is essentially leveling up, or evolve. And so powering up requires both Stardust, which is not mutually exclusive to any Pokemon. Like, Stardust is basically generic. It can be used to power up any Pokemon. But in terms of the candies, like, you need Pidgey candy to power up a Pidgey, Or you can use Pidgey candy to power up a Pidgeotto. So there's not Pidgeotto candy. Like, the candy is only based on the first form of the Pokemon. But basically the way you evolve it is you get a certain number of candies. You don't need Stardust at all. So for instance, for Pidgey, I think it was something about like 20 Pidgey candies. And so what's interesting is that in addition for each 3 you get by capturing a Pidgey, you also get 1 Pidgey candy for each of those Pidgeys that you release. So let's say you catch 6 of them, and one of them is much stronger. Like, one of them is CP 50 and the others are all around 15. If you release the 4 that are 15, you get 4 more candies, 1 for each. So that's just another way to get candy. And then you can evolve that strong one into a Pidgeotto. So I actually think it's a kind of interesting system. I wasn't sure how I would like it, but I think I'm kind of enjoying it. And because Pokemon are pretty abundant, at least I found, it's not that difficult. You just kind of have to keep at it. Like, it's not it's not a frustrating evolution system. You just have to get used to it because it's different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the other interesting thing about this game are the items. So they have, of course, Pokeballs, which I just ran out of this morning. I was sad. I'm going to have to look for Pokestops because I'm not spending more money. Although I may because I already spent $1. But, they also have incense, which I think is interesting because it's basically like this scent-based item which attracts Pokemon to your, like, they'll bring them to you, basically. I mean, you still have to move, but you'll maybe have like a higher success rate, or, you know, you'll encounter more Pokemon. There's also the incubator, which, so you start out with an infinite incubator, so you can use infinite times, and that's to hatch eggs. But you can only put one egg in an incubator. But you can buy more incubators so you can hatch multiple eggs at once, but those ones have a limited number of uses, so you sort of have to play your eggs wisely. And there are also these, I forget what it's called, but it's like this thing you can attach to a Pokespot, and it attracts Pokemon to that spot for about 30 minutes. But what's interesting is it's not just for you, it's for anyone who goes to that Pokespot. So you're sort of doing yourself and others a favor with that item. And I think that's interesting if you're like playing with friends, and like you identify a Pokespot, rather than you all having to use an incense, like one of you can just attach one of those, and that'll benefit all of you, you know. So I found the items to be pretty interesting. I did pretty much spend $1 right away just to help get things going, because I didn't know that you start out with 2 incenses, so I bought one.
So you got 3.
Yeah. So keep in mind, do check your inventory before you buy things, because you do start with a decent amount of stuff. You start with quite a few Pokeballs, although with the Pokeballs, try to be careful. As fun as it is to get like the spinny trick shots, you really want to be conservative with them, because when you run out, it's like, oh, this sucks. Because now I have to either go to a Pokespot or buy some, which I honestly might just... I mean, I'm planning on going out again tonight to another town, and hoping to find a bunch of stuff there. But honestly, I mean, I have an iTunes gift card, which I got around when I got Miitomo, and I ended up spending $0 of microtransactions on that game. So I might just spend $5 here, because I can already tell I care more about this game than that one. But yeah, it's been an interesting day and a half. Lots of talk on Twitter. The only other thing I want to mention is that this game, so just like Miitomo, it got to the top of the App Store charts. But the thing that it has done, which... Oh, and also, so it's not even on the featured page. But Miitomo, if you remember, was plastered all over, like, the front page of everything. This, like, it's... I mean, I don't know why it's not on the front page. Maybe because Apple wants to wait till it's, like, fixed to promote it. Which, I don't know. But, like, even despite that, it's really popular. Like, it's number 1 for in the top charts. The interesting thing is also number 1 on top grossing. Or grossing, I really don't know. That basically means it's making the most money. And that's interesting because Miitomo, I think, like, the highest it ever got was around, like, position 70 on top grossing. Which is, like, that's okay, but, like, that's not really a lot. I mean, I'm sure they were getting an okay amount of money, but it stayed there for less than a week. Whereas Pokemon Go has already skyrocketed to number 1, which is above things like Mobile Strike, Spotify Music, Game of War, Candy Crush Saga, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, all games that, have huge microtransactions and, or in-app purchases.
Rip Love Live.
Yeah. I wonder where that would be on here.
No idea.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the time right now to search for that. Maybe later. But so, more so than it being at the top of the free charts, the fact that it's earning that much money is the biggest thing so far. Also, the fact that Nintendo's stock has jumped like 10%, which is good. So, there's a positive market response, but the app definitely needs some more work. And we were talking earlier about how we think, like, in its current state, it should honestly be an open beta with how many things there are that need to be fixed still. Mm-hmm. Because... like, yeah, the core of the game is there and it's playable, but it's only playable sometimes, and when it is playable, there's still some weird things, so we don't really think it was fit to be released, necessarily. I'm and like there's been some talk about how maybe being released in its state could negatively affect the game in the long term because some people just getting frustrated and quitting just because it's so frustrating and like deleting the app just because it's so difficult to get onto the servers.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with mobile gaming, that I could see Nintendo not knowing, but Niantic, it seems weird, maybe because Ingress is their only game, and I don't know how the launch went for that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, if your game doesn't work when people want it and they can't get on, it's almost guaranteed to become dead. Pokemon Go might be an exception just because
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's Pokemon.
Yeah.
But like most properties, even with the hype, they would have, like, most people would just uninstall now and forget about it.
Mm-hmm. And Miitomo was sort of like the opposite. Like, it launched fine. It just wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, just no one wanted it.
Yeah. Like, everyone downloaded it, tried it, and then there was nothing engaging about it, so everyone stopped. I mean, I personally, just to talk about it very briefly, I personally revisited it today just to get the Cali shirt for the Splatfest. And there are actually some interesting updates to it. So they added new music, like sort of Splatoon style. And additionally, they made the whole process of giving hearts and commenting much quicker, where you used to click a heart and it would load for like 2 seconds and then be like, thanks, but now it's instant, which is great. I know it seems like a small thing, but it really helps. And additionally with commenting, so when you see someone's post and you have the option to either, reply or give a heart, rather than clicking the comment bubble to comment and loading the comment thread, you can still do that, or you can just click at the bottom of the screen, type your comment, and send it, so you don't have to open the comment thread.
That's good.
So everything just happens quicker now. And honestly, that might help me pick the game back up for the sole purpose of the Miitomo coins. I still don't think the game is that interesting, but I personally found it kind of painful to play with how slow some of those things were earlier. But now that it's been greatly streamlined, I may continue it again, but solely for the purpose of those My Nintendo coins, in the hopes that maybe we eventually get a good reward. That's the other thing. Like, come on, good rewards, please. But anyway, do we have anything more to say about Pokemon Go for now?
No, I just want to say I hope that the server issues don't turn too many people away. Give it a week and then come back. They should, hopefully, if they're not fine in a week, then I think the game's dead. I don't think it's gonna lift that.
No way. That's too long.
But come back in a week. If it's working fine, then decide if like the gameplay itself is what bores you. And if you don't like the gameplay, that's fine. There's nothing that's gonna change it. Just uninstall then. But just wait a bit and don't let the server issues turn you away, because potentially you could be missing a really enjoyable experience for yourself. Like,
you shouldn't let something like that turn you away.
Yeah.
Like even if you decide to not play for a week, like you should come back if that's your only problem with it. And at least give it another shot. From what I've found, if you don't leave your house very frequently and you're not willing to, you probably won't enjoy this game. I'm someone who doesn't leave my house. I mean, I guess I leave a fair amount. I mean, I've actually started like thinking more about taking walks just because of this game. Like yesterday I went on a walk that was like 1.5 miles, which there's no way I would have gone on that otherwise. So like if you're willing to go out and explore, then yeah, I think you'll enjoy this game. But if you're planning, like if you don't want to leave your house to play a game, it's not for you, not at all. I don't think. But yeah, that's about it for Pokemon Go. And do we want to talk about any other mobile apps, or do you think we're fine?
Nah, we can save that.
Okay, cool. Got it.
So, poll.
Poll, my bad.
Poll. So last week, we got a dump of 7 Pokemon and asked which out of 4 of them, which was your favorite. Those few were Drampa, Cutiefly, Togedemaru, and Tapu Koko. Cutie Fly won with 32% of the votes, followed by Tapu Koko with 27, Drompa with 23, and Togedemaru with 18. Rest in peace, Armz, and all the Sonichu hype. Only 22 votes, so not the best, but thanks for voting anyway. And this week's poll, Miitomo or Pokemon Go? Because some undank meme already asked if people are playing Pokemon Go.
Armz, we're looking at you.
I'm sure if we posted that same poll again today, it would probably be majority no, just because you can't play.
Yeah.
But yeah, so plugs. Go read my Orchard of Stray Sheep review. That was an experience. And also, anime understanding is a thing. No. But Zoe, who's a friend of Blaze Kick, and I did Love Live Sunshine discussion. We're going to do one for each episode. Episode 1 is out on... Oh no, it will be out by the time this goes up. So yeah, go listen to that. Go listen to us talk about waifu. And then go watch Food Wars Season 2, Episode 2. As well as donate or pledge to us on Patreon. If you give us $1 a month, then you get early access to Nintendo Unleashed, PlayStation Point, Podcast Scorpio. I don't know if that's launched yet or when it's launching. The Love Live Sunshine discussions, as well as the exclusive monthly Blaze Kick podcast that never goes up anywhere besides Patreon. Last episode was a Nintendo Unleashed takeover, apparently. The episode before that was PlayStation Point, so I guess Podcast Scorpio, even though Armz is the only Blaze Kick member on that.
Yeah.
But subscribe to our YouTube channel. Is that Blaze Kick Media or just Blaze Kick?
That's Blaze Kick Media.
Okay.
Also, be sure to check out. I don't think you said this, but Said Enough Games or not?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their podcast with Mike.
Yeah, they're the ones that are collabing for Podcast Scorpio.
Right.
So that's hype. And they're also, I don't know if the giveaway is still running, but Podcast Scorpio is doing an Ori and the Blind Forest giveaway. I probably should have checked if that's still ongoing by the time this goes up. I don't know. Also, subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music, as well as review us on iTunes. That's something you can do while waiting for Pokemon Go to work.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter. That's @BlazeKickTweet, as well as @Nin Unleashed.
Yep, that's it.
NIN Unleashed. As well as @ArmsMXZ, @DoubleThroughOn, @-007, @Waifu420 Blaze It. I don't know. That's probably an account. And visit BlazeKick.com for dankness.
Yeah, and more.
Yeah.
And Guy Fieri recipes.
Yes. Lots of them. Almost daily.
Alright.
And yeah, so see you guys next week.
Go catch a Squirtle.
Hype, hype.